Welcome to the Get Inspired with Gurds show, brought to you by Gurds Hundal. Join us each week to be inspired, informed and uplifted with some of the most inspirational and motivational guests from around the world. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay inspired.
Hello and welcome to Get Inspired with Gurds. I'm your host, and today I have a special guest with me who's changing many lives with his incredible yoga therapies, guidance packages and tarot card readings. To me, Sundeep Pandit is just an absolute inspiration. He transformed his own life around, which helped him to forgive, forget and self-heal himself. He now uses mind, body and soul techniques to help men and women to empower and achieve success in all areas of their lives. How inspirational can you get? Sandeep, welcome to my radio show and thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Gurds. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks, by the grace of God.
Bless you. What time is it in India at the moment?
It's 8:40 p.m.
Oh, wow. Wow. So it's very late. Well, it's getting late for that.
It's fine. I mean, I sleep by 11 o'clock, so that's okay.
Well, Sandeep, a friend of mine introduced me to you, and what he told me was just unbelievable. You know, you have so much to teach, and it all stems from your past. So can you tell the listeners what you've been through, starting with your childhood, and when you actually saw the light into what you're doing now?
Okay. Gurds, thanks to you for including me into this show, and I always believe that I have to be on some wellness show. We don't have any wellness show here in India, but good that you came across a friend of mine and we are talking today.
Bless you.
I had a very normal childhood, Gurds, and it was a very good schooling. And my parents were actually very protective about me. From the early days, my heart always wanted to go out and kind of a liberated soul, be with friends, and be the leader. I have been a number one, and if you know a little bit of numerology, my birth number and my destiny number both are number one. So I was born to be different, and I did not realize it then. But my lessons that I learned in my life started early in my days. I mean, early in my school. I was a very bright student, and I was equally good in sports as well as studies. And I had represented my school till the state level, and I played cricket a lot, and I indulged in all the athletic events, starting from the sprint events to long jump, high jump. I did all of that, and I became very popular in my school. But that had a downside. The downside was when you become very popular, you also have a lot of detractors around you. Okay, so that was the first brush of jealousy around me that I had at the age of 12 years or 13 years, when I was growing, doing things in my life, and I was getting the awards, recognitions. That was the time when I first saw some jealous eyes around me in the school, and that had to be, handled and handled well. And I did not know at that age how to handle it. And with my, that inborn subconscious mind that I wanted, that I did not know at that time, I was trying to speak to myself and try to calm myself down. And that was the time when I felt that there is something within the mind which gives you the handle to manage, to get things in life that you want in life. Okay, and I started speaking to my subconscious mind, and unbelievably, the things started happening on the ground. I started getting friends back. I started, I was an introvert in my school. I was not an extrovert person. And I had to kill my fear. So I used to speak to myself get myself on the stage, and I used to win awards, win prizes for my for my speaking, for my communication, for my elocution, for dramatist. I mean, for that drama shows that I used to do, and a strange, unstoppable spirit engulfed me, and I felt as if I had all the control in my subconscious mind, and I can now train it to make the situation work in my favor. This was the beginning of my understanding of subconscious mind. I had no kind of training, no books I had read at the age of 12, which gives me an understanding of the mind. Forget about the subconscious mind. Okay, so when I look back, I understand one thing very clearly, that this is all planned for me. This is the way how I will learn the lesson of how the subconscious mind can be used, and that was my initial brush with how the mind can go on to do wonders.
Wow.
And yeah, so
That's amazing. So, you kind of figured this out at a very young age. What was the turning point when you decided to follow your dreams? When did that happen?
in fact, there were one more turning point before that had to happen, when I picked this up as a profession, and picked this up as a goal to heal people, and to mentor people. Before that, what happened was, I was in hostel, and after finishing school, I went to hostel for higher studies in the holy city of Banaras. It is Banaras is a city which is one of the most oldest city in India, around, if I'm not wrong, 400 years old history.
Oh, wow.
And there is a river Ganges, which is the most holiest of the rivers. And they say this place gives a lot of it has a lot of spirituality in this city. Okay, and this is where God had planned for my true lessons, and it was very dramatic in the way this unfolded for me. My hostel where I was staying was around 2 kilometers, or maybe 4 miles, almost around 4 miles from my hostel. There was a riverbank. That was the Ganges riverbank, and I used to enjoy being myself in solitude every evening, and I used to avoid the regular distraction that a normal hosteler would have. Go and sit down there, be myself, look at the waves, and understand what is going on. At that time, I was not having any complexity of my life, which I would have tried to solve, but I was just trying to understand myself, and I was just going with the flow. One fine day, I went to a bookstore which was just beside that river Ganges, and my hand picked up a book which was a German palmistry book written by a German author, and I went through that book, and that book actually was a kind of a revelation for me. I understood when I was, it was a thick book of around maybe not less than 500 pages into it. It was hardbound. I still remember, I still have that. I have, in fact, written the date on which I had bought that. With that book, I actually ended up looking into 624 palms in my hostel, because there were 312 rooms in my hostel with 2 inmates each. Almost, I'm not less than 600 palms I would have read in the next 2 months.
Wow.
And this was actually a revelation for me, because I used to get the feedback right on the spot from the people. When I was reading their palms, and I was telling them, this is how life has been with you, and this is what is going to happen. What is going to happen, nobody knows. Even it is a prediction. But what is going on, what has happened, is something that I was able to get a feedback right there.
Mm.
So when I understood that this is what is this is something which I never thought I would be doing. Nobody in my family had done that.
Mm.
Then inherently one more skill that I picked up, and that was whenever I was traveling in crowded place like bus stop,
Mhm.
airport, or I'm waiting in a some crowded place. I started reading the face. I started doing face reading, and to my amazement, actually I started doing it well because there were few people whom I knew, and I tallied the characteristics that I knew about that person and what the face told me. So now I had palmistry and face reading skills, which was there with me, and I was using it. But somewhere this could not continue for long because I went on to do my masters in international business.
Mhm.
That was the time when I got abruptly disconnected for 10 years. I
Oh
could not
wow.
pursue my psychic abilities because I got into a group of corporate group where I had a sales and marketing career which was very hectic, and throughout these 10 years, Gerd, I was thinking this is not what I want to do.
Mm.
This is not what I am meant to do, and why am I not happy? I'm growing in my career. I grew from an executive rank to assistant general manager marketing.
Mm.
I have worked with companies like IBM, GE Healthcare, and still, why am I not satisfied?
Mm.
So then, one fine day, a friend of mine introduced me into a holistic development program.
Mm.
I questioned him, why am I supposed to do this? Then he said, Sandeep, I think that you must do it. I said, why? Somehow he could not give me convincing answer. But when I took a month's time,
Mm.
and I then called him again. Can you please get me enrolled into that program?
Mm.
And that was a program which actually kick-started, got me back into the groove,
Mm.
which I had lost 10 years back.
Wow.
This was a program which was, holistic development at 5 levels, like, physical, mental, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual.
Mm.
When I did this course, suddenly I started meditating.
Mm.
When I started meditating, few of the things which are related to the psychic abilities came together. For example, I got an interest in reading tarot cards.
Mhm.
I got a tarot card teacher for myself. I got myself trained on tarot card, and also went on to do this Reiki healing. Reiki healing is a Japanese symbol based healing therapy. When
Mm.
I did Reiki, there was a sudden surge in psychic abilities within me.
Mm.
And not only I got back to the groove which I was in 10 years back, I actually went far ahead.
Wow.
It started, guiding people, mentoring people, telling them what they should be doing, and reading cards for them. So the tarot cards became a divination tool for me. Okay,
Mhm.
and it actually helped not only in reading what's going on in their life, but it also started telling what they should be doing, what is the path ahead, and it started guiding them. So this is how it got started, the GERT, and so this is how I got inducted into back into the psychic field. I mean, psychic field that I was in 10 years back.
Wow.
From, yeah.
That's unbelievable because it just shows you that, we too busy, we're trying to follow the system, and what happens with the system, no matter how much money you earn, there's that little void, there's that little hole in your heart, and you know that deep down you need to follow your purpose. And it sounds like you already knew your purpose, but you were kind of almost fighting against it because of what others were saying to you and what the system was suggesting to you that you needed to follow?
The we are brought up, and the parenting, the regular parenting is always about study,
Yes.
up, earn well, live for yourself, and for a little bit do little for the society as well. So those 3-4 lines stick in our mind, and we start feeling that this is the gospel truth. Whereas each one of us are born different, and each one of us have a specific, unique purpose. I feel, and that's the reason, Gerd, I feel that the guru system. I mean, I would actually try to I would try to have a different point of view on the guru system, because I don't believe in guru system, because I feel the guru had a path which God had given him. Followed that path, and he became enlightened, and he became the guru. But for me, if I follow that path of that specific one guru, I cannot toe his path, because that was his path. My path is unique. My path is different. So what I do is I blend from different gurus, from different masters. I go to different places. As I said, I went to that holistic development course. I went to various other courses. I went to speak to various teachers, gurus, and I imbibe the things that I want, that I think that is valid in my life for me, and I make that as my subset. And then I use that as a kind of package, as a system to heal people, to guide people, to mentor them, to bring back to their purpose.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, because I think a lot of people, even in the Western world, the term guru is just thrown all over the place. And I think it's so wrong, because at the end of the day, we all have a guru within us. However, we wouldn't market ourselves as guru, because the guru is within our soul. It's our purpose. And I feel that, like I said, I feel like it's just misunderstood in the Western world. What do you think?
Absolutely. I understand. I mean, I used to go to temples. But after I started meditating, I have found one thing, that the God is within us, and going to a temple is for what? I mean, we are trying to search God there outside. Why not search it inside and do the things for people? I mean, if there is a needy person, there is a hungry person, feed him. If there is a person who needs help, help him. Okay, and we all fellow men are his creation. So he'll be more than happy if we don't go to him to search him in temples, churches, and gurudwaras and mosques, but we search within us, and we try to do good for people around us.
Yeah.
The God up there or inside, I mean, wherever the God is, he'll be happy to see that a fellow man is helping the other fellow man. And there is one more point of view, Gerd, here. See, I feel the intention of the person should be good. Okay, I'll give you an example. There are a lot of times we hear about charity. People do charity, but people feel that if I do charity, I am on the right path. But it is always about the intention. If I am doing charity and the intention is that my karma should be burned and I should get a peaceful life, that is a selfish motive. If I'm doing charity because there is a hungry person, there is a poor person who needs help, who needs money, he has no food to eat. If I am feeding him, if that is my charity, then that intention is good.
I agree.
On the other hand,
sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say I agree with you. Sorry, carry on.
So this is one part of the intention. The other part of the intention is, say if I am, I would say if I am scolding my son, okay, the activity, I mean, or the act itself is scolding. I mean, it sounds negative. But the intention is that if I see that he is not, he is trying to breach the values that I want to get in him, and if I am scolding for him for that, trying to get him back on those values, then that is right. So on one hand, I'm saying scolding is right because the intention is right. On the other hand, I'm saying charity is wrong because the intention was wrong. Okay, so basically, what we're trying to say, whatever we do, that is not important. Whatever we intend, the intention should be pure, should be good, should be, it should come out from the from inside, as if there is a pure soul which lies inside, and that is what is driving me to do this.
Like the purest intentions. Absolutely agree with you, Sandeep. So you've now got your own business, Soul in Harmony. You're now providing mind, body, and soul therapies and packages. How are you helping people through this?
Good. I have a very unique way of listening to people's life issues. First, I understand their life issues, and then try to understand the underlying layers of this particular issue, or maybe more than one issue, with the help of my psychic abilities. After which I pinpoint the key areas with the help of holistic reading. When I say holistic reading, it's a mix of tarot reading, face reading, palm reading, aura scanning, and pendulum dowsing. All this put together in the same session, it gives a kind of advantage to me and to my client, and this allows me to get into the required guidance for that specific life issue. Finally, when I know the core issue and the core reason to the problem, then I can solve the same by multiple ways. I mean, there could be maybe 5 ways which I deal with. One, it could be a mere life coaching or a counseling if it is something related to career. Second, it could be Reiki healing if it is due to a blockage of a chakra. I believe our audience knows, listeners knows about what chakra is. Chakra is nothing but invisible moving wheel within our body, and there are 7 major parts in our body which has these chakras, where the prana, the prana flows, the oxygen flows through these invisible chakras. So if there is a blockage of any of these chakra, then I do Reiki healing. The third therapy that I use is alpha mind techniques. When I say alpha mind techniques, it's about bringing your brain's frequency below 14 hertz per second and above 7 hertz per second. If you go below 7 hertz per second, then you go to sleep. But it is a state just before you sleep, when you induce yourself to a state where you are just before sleep, and you throw that affirmation to your subconscious mind, and that gets manifested slowly. So this is the third technique that I use for people who are struggling with their subconscious mind. The third, the fourth therapy that I use is the regular meditation. I suggest to people who want to who needs to calm down, and I suggest it to people who are struggling with being in the crossroad of their life and they are not knowing what needs to be done. So I do all the above. Plus, I tell them to meditate, and the meditation can be chakra balancing meditation, or it can be a alpha mind meditation.
What's an alpha mind meditation?
Okay, the alpha mind meditation is a kind of meditation which is a guided meditation where you bring down the frequency of the brain 14 hertz per second.
Okay.
7 hertz per second. So you are in between 7 to 14 hertz per second in the brain's frequency. And when the state, when the mind comes to that state, that is the state where you can actually delve deeper into your issue that you have, the affirmation that you want to have vis-a-vis that issue. You sow the seed of what affirmation, of what manifestations you want to have. That is when it takes inside your subconscious mind and it starts interacting with the universal energy, and it starts manifesting bit by bit, day by day, and one fine day you see those those affirmations that you have done, it actually happens in life.
Wow.
One of the fact is that one of the affirmation was speaking to you. And it's happening today.
You can tell the listeners, it's fine. Go for it.
So, a few weeks back, I was having this strange feeling that I should be talking to a radio, to a wellness radio, and unfortunately, in India, we don't have a channel on radio which talks about wellness. It's all Bollywood and song and a different kind of radio channels we have here. So a friend of mine who happens to know all about that I'm doing in the psychic field, he happened to be a friend of you, Gurds,
Yes.
and he did not tell me anything. He just went on to speak to you and contacted me. But what happened before that is what I want to share with the listeners.
Sure.
For the last 3 weeks, when I was going back to sleep, I was for the last 5 minutes I used to meditate. I still meditate, and in that meditation state, just before dozing off, I tell five affirmations for myself, and out of those five, one was that I am interviewing for one of the radio channel outside India. 2 to 3 weeks, if I don't exactly remember, within 2 to 3 weeks, I get a mail from Gurds, and that was also surprising. That mail originated from my website. So she visited my website. She entered a form where she showed interest in interviewing me. She read my profile. She gave some bits and pieces of my profile as well on that in that mail. And when I read that mail, I was kind of, I was smiling to myself that, strange things of subconscious mind and affirmation and manifestations. These are not the things which are written on the books, but it actually happens.
So true. And it was just so powerful when I received your message and I was like, yes, you know exactly where I'm coming from and you're the perfect fit for the show, because it's so true what you're saying. It's the power of the mind, and like you said, when you set the intention, you will receive. And I think you're the first person, Sandeep, to actually say that whatever you put your mind to and what you want to manifest, if you do that every single night, the reality will turn. It will happen. Whether it happens in a week or 2 weeks, it will eventually happen.
Yeah, depending on the goal is as like into a radio show, it can happen in weeks, few weeks. But if you're working on, I'm talking about it for the listeners, that they should not get frustrated if they are trying to manifest something on the relationship front or something on the career front. It takes a little more time than a few weeks. But never give up.
Absolutely.
Keep affirming. And the one key thing here while you're affirming is that you should not affirm in future tense. You should always be in the present tense. That I am interviewing for the radio show. That I am having abundance in my life. That I am having all the good relationships in my life. It should not be I will have. If you would say I will have in your affirmation, then it will always be in the future tense. The subconscious mind does not understand grammar. It will also respond back, reciprocate by saying that I will give it to you. It will not, it will all be future tense. So that is very key, and this is something which I would like to specify for the listeners, that when they are affirming, they have to affirm in present continuous tense.
It's so true, Sandeep, and I agree with you, because what the listeners don't know, when I was 20 years old, I saw the view of the O2, and I always wanted to live near the river. So I planted that seed at 20. By 24, I was living close by to the area, but on one side of the river. By 25, I moved to the right-hand side of the river, and by 27, I was living exactly in the area that I wanted to live in. And it's just so powerful. It might have taken 7 years, but eventually I got there.
So the secret...
Sorry?
The secret was revealed to you at the age of 20. So you revealed the secret.
Yes. However, actually, it started happening when I was 19, Sandeep. I remember walking past BBC Radio Leicester, and I was doing a placement somewhere else, and I said to myself, I would love to work here one day. Within 3 weeks, the company went into liquidation and I had to find another placement. And a friend of mine actually knew somebody at BBC Radio Leicester and actually got me in there. And then after that, anywhere I went to just get any experience or work for, I used to just plant the seed and say, I would love to work there. And within a few weeks, it would be manifested. It was just unbelievable.
I mean, yeah, we have to hone our subconscious mind as well. And for the listeners, I'm trying to stress on the point that don't give up in the beginning stage when you're trying to experiment with your subconscious mind. There are a lot of things that might not work immediately, but there's no thing that it will work for me and it will not work for somebody else. It all works. The mind works the same way. The universe works the same way. So it is just that you have to keep on persisting and keep on talking to your mind, speaking positive, having the right intentions. These two things are very important. You have to keep speaking to yourself in a positive way and have the right intentions and self-belief that will take you through in whatever you want to manifest. It can be as big as anything. I mean, and when you are when my listeners, I mean, our listeners are doing manifestation, I mean, doing affirmations, they should not shy away from setting very big affirmations.
It's very true, because whatever the mind believes, the mind will achieve. So if you are saying to yourself that you can't achieve that, then that's what will happen to you. If you say, and you, like you said, you set the intention, it might take 5 years, it might take 7 years, it might take 10 years, but eventually you will get there. And that feeling of having that abundance in what you wanted, it's just so powerful. Can you tell us about you being in the top 12 psychic healers of the world competition?
Okay. So I actually, I was talking to you about my journey from my school days to my corporate life, and then I became little disenchanted with my corporate life, and then that is when my friend introduced me to this holistic development program. I learned Reiki and I learned tarot card reading. And I was not knowing, okay, where is it going? I mean, what am I doing? I mean, is this what, is this where it will end? I'll keep on working and I'll keep on doing this. One fine day, this is again something which will come out from the affirmation, the same extension of the same discussion that we were having. I was actually asking myself, Sandeep, so where are you going next? And believe me, Gurds, I get an email from a TV channel in Ukraine that we would like you to be one of the contestants for the International Psychic Challenge 12th edition in Ukraine. It is a TV reality show, and I was and I was pleasantly surprised when I received that mail. And in fact, I knew it will be funny. I wrote back to the same email ID asking, where did you find me out? I mean, thanks and all that. I also asked them, how did you find me out? Because till that time, I did not advertise myself in this area, because I somehow feel that spirituality, if it is in the real sense, it will attract clients. You will get people who seek you. Okay, so I was not advertising a lot, and that is how I got an email, and they said that they found me somewhere because of my client testimonials on my website. I had a very basic website, and then I went there thinking that I am one among the 4,000, so let me fill up the questionnaire. I filled up the questionnaire. I did not expect that what lies ahead. I had no inkling about what is going to happen. They had to shortlist 60 out of 4,000 entries, 60.
Wow.
And to my pleasant surprise, I was shortlisted among those 60 people across the globe.
Amazing.
And again, when I was shortlisted in one of those top 60, and I was called to you, I got my visa done. I reached there. Till that time, when I landed there, I thought, okay, fine, Sandeep. So you have arrived here. You have come here. Good. You have, and you are. I mean, I was among the people from Poland who has written 13 books in tarot card reading. From Iceland, somebody. I mean, from Finland, who was a top numerology expert in that country. Then from Sweden, somebody who used to come on Sweden TV every day. So I mean, from that standards, I was not calling myself, very professional, because I was doing my other career, which was my primary career, and this was my secondary career, which was going on. So I thought to myself, fine, Sandeep, you have reached here. You are one among the 60 contestants, and you are doing the show. And I happened to, in one of the challenge that was given to us, I also read blindfolded for Juliette Binoche. She is the Oscar awardee Hollywood actress. She was in front of us, and we were blindfolded. And each of the psychics were asked, what kind of personality is this? They did not, I mean, nobody can say who is this, but what kind of personality is this who is sitting in front of you? What is the past, present, and future? This is also one of the challenge that I had cracked, and I was actually selected in the top 12 finally.
Wow.
So I went on to become the top 12 psychic readers of the world because of the challenges that they had given us in the 15 days of our stay. We were made to live in a haunted house.
What?
Yeah, I mean, the challenge was such that all contestants, it was a mental asylum. It was a mental asylum which was converted into a hotel.
What?
Yes, and each one of us had strange, nights in terms of we were able to feel spirit, but except me, everybody else were feeling something unnatural happening in their rooms.
Oh my God.
Barring a few, I mean, out of those 60, some 5 or 6 were not experiencing anything, but just around 50 people were talking about it, and I was saying, no, there's nothing in my room. But each of them were speaking about their experiences. How? No, it was intentional. I mean, they wanted us to go through all that in the TV show.
Wow. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And do you know, it's interesting you say that, Sandeep, because a friend of mine decided one time he couldn't afford to live in the flat he was living, so he found through somebody where it was an old nursing home and they were renting out some rooms when the kind of new owner took over, and they were just waiting for it to be demolished. So he managed a room for really, really cheap. And one evening, I said I'd come over and just we were doing some work, and I said I'll come over and we'll just work on the business there. And went into this old nursing home, and Sandeep, within a second, I felt all these energies. I felt I never believed in ghosts, and I still don't now, but I felt all these energies within the room. And when I went into the living room, it was the freakiest thing, Sandeep. I saw like death experiences that had happened there. And I told my friend, and he was like, how can you see this? And I said, I don't know how, but all I know is that there were some deaths that took place over here. And then in the back garden, I saw something as well, and I told him, and he freaked out. And it just shows that when you're really intuitive with yourself, you can sense these things that most people can't.
Yes. Fortunately, my room which I was staying was good, so I could sense it there. But exactly the situations, the incidents that you're narrating, I have had similar experiences elsewhere, but there my room was good. I mean, people used to give up their room and they used to come to my room because it was a good room. Nothing, maybe there was no history of any deaths or maybe any bad incidents, maybe.
That's good.
Of which I was saved. I mean, I did not have that experience, but it was strange to hear other people tell about, somebody coming and pressing their neck at night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and somebody was saying that somebody comes and sits beside me on the bed where I'm lying.
Oh,
And he
God.
starts staring at me and flies away. So all these were, I mean, it was really, I mean, the International Psychic Challenge show that I was part of gave me a lot of good friends, gave me good learnings in terms of how far, I mean, a person can go in the psychic field. There's no end to the there's no depth which is defined for the for the mystic world. It can just go deep and deep and deep.
Very true.
And also, I came to understand that if you really believe that there is something that you are meant to do, you are actually able to achieve that.
Yes.
That is how I actually manifested this in my life.
Wow. That's unbelievable, and I totally understand where you're coming from. It's very powerful, and I guess it makes you realize as well how much you are connected with your higher self, and that you have the ability to feel, sense, hear these things, and once you do, it shows the power of your mind.
Read books, we understand the power of subconscious mind. We all know that this is good, but the mistake where the entire world is doing is we are not being taught to meditate in the schools.
Yes. This is something that I've been saying for a very long time, Sandeep, to a lot of people for the last 2 years is, sorry about that, if we have more meditation in schools, kids would be at peace with themselves. They wouldn't have this stress or trauma or anxiety or depression that's happening in this day and age because of social media and television screens and other things that we have that kind of block us from being connected to ourselves.
In fact, I would go one step further to say that if all the 8-year-old kids across the world are taught meditation today, starting today, in one generation we would solve a lot of problems of the world.
We wouldn't have these fights. We wouldn't be going to war. I agree with you so much.
Exactly, because if a child is 8 years old today and he is growing, that cohort is growing. As a cohort is growing, it becomes a 25 years old generation, and that is how the entire world will be in an awakened state.
It's very
We
true.
would have expanded the consciousness of the universe.
It's like we almost need to learn the lessons from the past and from previous experiences to realize that we need to wake up. All of us need to wake up at one point, and it's so true. Meditation is so powerful, guys, out there. I can't even explain to you guys what happened with my own personal life, but through meditation, I was able to clear a lot of things that I didn't even know existed in my mind. So it's so powerful. If you want to be liberated, if you want to be free, if you want to be your true, authentic self, I would start now.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you so much of power in your hand. It's kind of a weapon that you have.
Very true.
It not only expands consciousness, it gives you kind of creativity. It gives you, I mean, you are able to manage your stress. You're able to understand yourself much better. You get a kind of feeling of wholeness within yourself. If people are, addicted to things like, the tobacco or drinking, the addiction can go away. You'll have better sleep. The entire, identity shifts from being flesh and blood to being one with the universe. And as a whole, it enriches the life. You start having good intentions. I'm always talking about intentions. So you start having good intentions. See, we are all human beings. Everybody will do mistakes, but the important thing is not to not do mistakes. The important thing is how soon after doing a mistake can we realize and get back to our good intentions.
Very true. We are coming towards the end of the show, Sandeep, and I just wanted to ask you, what are your 5 top tips for leading a better life?
Okay. So what which I have always been speaking about this interview is meditation. Has to meditate. Okay. So meditation will give a lot of, it will bring a lot of natural balance in the spheres of life. One needs to meditate regularly Okay, and one has to come out of the comfort zone by
Mm.
doing something new, by doing something more. Don't have to get into a discomfort state, but you have to dip your toe into something new from time to time.
Mm.
Face your fears upfront. Fears will never disappear, but they'll become less important for you. Third, I would say forgive people. You are the director of your own mind. It is you who keep playing the events of the past over and over again. It is essential to forgive and let go.
Mm.
Okay, so the fifth tip that I would give my listeners would be, accept where we are and what we are. Do what your heart says. More you accept this, the easier, it will be, to change in life.
Mm.
In fact, we will also, it will be wonderful to note that life actually changes itself when we stop pushing so hard.
Mm.
So let it flow. And I would give one more thing, which is very important actually,
Sure.
is keep taking baby steps, one small step at a time towards the direction that you want to, towards the goal that you want. Eventually, you'll reach a tipping point
Mm.
where your thinking shifts completely, and you are ready for a quantum leap. So, there's no dichotomy here. There's no paradox here. Small steps keep on taking, and quantum leap will just happen when you're at the tipping point. It will just happen because your thinking will shift. And the problem is that most of the people, they never get to those shifts because they stop drilling exactly when they are about to hit the gold.
Mm.
So they need to, persevere. These are my key tips that I would say. But the overarching theme that I would like to always tell to everybody who comes to me is that meditate.
Mm.
Even if it is 2 minutes in a day, please make it a habit and meditate.
Mm.
A day will come when it will become the way you brush your teeth. It should happen in that, it should be inbuilt into your system like that.
Mm. It's so true. I agree with you on that. Absolutely, Sandeep. So where can our listeners find you?
They can find me on my website, which is www.soulinharmony.in. I will repeat, www.soulinharmony.in. Soulinharmony.in. And I'm also present across LinkedIn, Twitter, with the same name, Soul in Harmony, in Twitter, and Facebook as well, Soul in Harmony. So I have a Facebook page, Soul in Harmony. I have a Twitter handle, Soul in Harmony. I have a website, which is soulinharmony.in, and I'm on LinkedIn.
Mm. Perfect. And you said that you were in Leicester at an event. Can you tell us about this?
Oh, wonderful! Yeah, I'm pleased to say that this is also kind of serendipity that I'm talking to you, and I'm going to be there in Leicester around October. From 1st of October till 15th of October, there is a spiritual show in Leicester in the Meher Center, and that is on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of October.
Mm-hmm.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It is there in Meher Center, and it is going to be an event starting from 11 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock in the evening, where there are going to be 80 spiritual healers from all walks of life, from tarot to, palm reader, to astrologers, to healers, to Vastu Shastras. Everybody, all of them, around 80 of them are congregating at the same place for around 9 hours each day for 3 days.
Wow.
And I am in booth number 32. My booth number is 32, and I'll be there for 3 full days from 11 to 8.
Amazing. Guys, if any of you guys are heading out to Leicester around the 2nd, 3rd or 4th of October, do check out Sandeep's stall, because from what I know about Sandeep, he's just absolutely inspirational. I've loved having him on the show. And just seriously, Sandeep, thank you for just giving the listeners the information that you have, because you are a role model in healing, and I'm definitely going to have you back on the show very soon.
Thank you very much, Gurds, and great talking to you. And I'm happy that I am able to reach out to listeners outside of my country. We are all one, as I say. We are all part of the Supreme Soul, and we are all one.
Bless you. Well, just keep doing what you're doing, because you're absolutely amazing at it. And just thank you so much again. And I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Bye. What an amazing interview with Sandeep. Just wow, I'm blown by the meditation, about the tarot card reading, and just his overall belief in transformation. I think it's just so powerful. And guys, I do recommend that you definitely try to meditate, because meditation actually helped me to transform my life around. It helped me to connect to my higher self that I didn't even know existed. And once you do it, you just have this energy and passion for life that you just don't know where it comes from, and it's because it's coming from a higher self of love and higher self of worth. And guys, unfortunately, it is at the end of the show, and I don't want to say bye, however I have to. And don't forget that you can find me on Twitter at IamGurds, it's IamGurds, and you can find me on Facebook at Get Inspired with Gurds, where I'll be bringing you lots of inspirational and motivational quotes. And also, you can check out my book on Amazon, which is called Educo, it's EDUCO, 52 quotes for leading a better life. And just before I say goodbye, I want to leave you on this quote. You cannot heal the world until you have healed yourself. Believe me, if you don't, you will never be happy. Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.
Join us each week to be inspired, informed and uplifted with some of the most inspirational and motivational guests from around the world. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay inspired.